it was great.
I'm not
6 and an 8-year-old, so they, hopefully they remember that stuff, but it was good.
Well, I tell you, probably do more if it's more leisurely, like they did in Florida.
Yeah. And we went with my brother's family, so I think all the kids will kind of have those memories together too.
Plus, coming around with
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
So we had 12 of us in that motorhome.
How'd that work?
It was difficult driving. Very top heavy and
wind, if you get a little wind or something.
Yeah.
Truck goes by maybe.
Yeah.
How about last quick thing? How many toilets is that?
Just one, but we didn't stay in it. We always stayed in a hotel. It was just to travel.
Just to travel.
Those states out there, 14 hours later, and you're so. If you're putting a kid in a car like that every third or fourth day. Yeah. But we took a rafting trip down the Snake River. Saw 6 moose, and then we did a horseback ride out in Glacier.
Oh, that's all great. That's all great. That's all great.
Well, all right, fired up.
Yeah, okay.
We're ready. Hi. We had to wait for you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right. I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled June 20th Sylvania Township Trustee meeting at 5:04.
We'll call the roll. Mr. Crandall?
Here.
Mr. Mahoney's absent. Mr. Genowine?
Here.
Simcoe? Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I don't think we have to do anything on either of the minutes. Do we have any additions or deletions to the meeting today?
No, we didn't.
Hearing of the public on
Nobody.
Agenda items, no one signed in?
Are we just going to pass on the minutes from next meeting?
Well,
Yeah.
the one meeting, Neil would have to approve it, and the other meeting,
Yeah.
John was,
Yeah,
okay, you
just
got
the
it.
meeting,
All right,
they
we'll move
just-
to the next meeting.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
zoning, Darrell.
Good evening. The monthly report for May for zoning. Zoning permits, we had a good month in May, 65 permits. That's a 38% increase, and estimated value was 10.1 million. That's a 319% increase, and that was driven largely by the 6 million estimated value that you see up there. That is for the new senior apartments on King Road. Year to date, we're at 204 permits. That's almost an 18% increase, and an estimated value of almost 39.2 million, and that represents a almost 216% increase on the year. On the next page, our single-family dwelling permits continue to just really blow last year out of the water. We're through the end of May, 46 single house permits versus 34, 35% increase, and then the estimated value is almost double, an 86% increase. We're at just shy of 14.7 million estimated value. And then you see in the last column the approximated estimated value per dwelling. Last year at this point or at the end of May, year to date we were at 231,000, and this year it's at 319,000. So they're getting close to $100,000 more in estimated value this year as opposed to last year. On the next page, the zoning complaints. We're down a little bit last month, 35 from 43 last May. That's a decrease of 18.6%. But year-to-date, we're still up 116 versus 74, and that represents a 57% increase. On the next page, the zoning department meetings. The Board of Zoning Appeals had 3 cases. 2 of them were for the lock-it-up storage. It was kind of an interesting case. Lock-it-up storage is actually in the city of Sylvania, but one parcel that they're expanding facility is actually in the township, and they were applying for some variances so that their new buildings would line up with the buildings that are in the city of Sylvania, which actually has less strict setbacks for industrial bordering residential than what the township has. Then the other one was for the conditional use request for Assurance Health Hospital on King Road, and the zoning commission also heard the zone change request for the Assurance Health. And then one last item of note, the zone change request for the Adirondack Village Villas on McCord Road and Wilford Drive. They've changed their requested zone change to an R3 PUD, and that request will be heard by the Lucas County Plan Commission on June 28th, in a couple of weeks. Then that should be heard by our zoning commission in early July and by the trustees in early August. That's all I have.
Thanks, Darrell.
Darrell, do you want to mention progress on the land use plan and public meeting coming up?
Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that. Land use plan update, we had our 3 subcommittee meetings last week and the week before. We will be having a community forum on June 28th at 6:30 in this room, 6:30 to 8 p.m. All township and city residents are welcome to attend. It will be an update of the community survey. They'll be going over the results of that, and then there will be an interactive option that the consultant will have the audience, there'll be a list of questions, and you'll have a little electronic interactive thing to answer with. So again, that's Wednesday, June 28th, 6:30 to 8 p.m.
Thanks, Darrell.
Thank you.
Appreciate the work you're doing.
I'm going to fill in for Rob, who's on a well-deserved vacation this week. The monthly report that you have, Rob told me it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you have any questions, he'll be back next Monday to answer any questions that you might have on that report. And then he has one resolution, which is the 17073 authorization to advertise for the 2017 resurfacing project. This is requesting bids for those projects, and the bids will be open July 5th, I think it is.
11th.
July 11th.
I'll offer Resolution 17-073, authorized to advertise for 2017 resurfacing project.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes. Is that all the resurfacing? Is it under one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for 17.
This is the
Yeah.
second phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for 17.
And there's a title sheet, John, that needs to be signed.
I signed that.
Good evening. The monthly report was presented to you for your review. We have a extensive list of things this evening with some awards to give out tonight, and I do have a couple of resolutions. But the monthly report, if we get to page 2 and 3, you'll notice that our incidents are up again this month from last year. Mutual aid and automatic aid were extremely up in the month of May. We received 4 auto aids. We had given 8, and we also had 1 mutual aid received, and we gave 6 mutual aids. So everyone around us was busy. I know the big fire that was a couple of weeks ago, I talked to Chief Santiago this morning. He wanted to thank everyone for us being able to fill in. That was quite a fire they had the other day. So, and it also happened to be the same day that Chief Wolanczak had passed away from retired Oregon Fire Chief, and it was the night of his fire walkthrough. So it was a pretty busy evening on that side of town. Medic 61, we had 64 transports in May. 6 out of the 64, 49 actually transported, 7 were canceled, and 8 actually chose to go by private auto. So that number's still up a little bit. As far as community risk reduction, safety and preparedness presentation was given to the Sylvania senior residents. And also Chief Froelich and firefighter Hillard also worked with Arbors at Sylvania Nursing Center also last month. All occupancy records were transferred into our new software, and we moved it from Firehouse into emergency reporting, and I can report that's going really well with our new reporting system. Mike had 16 plan reviews, 7 license inspections for preschool daycares, 2 final acceptance tests, and 8 state inspections last month. As far as our continuing education, CE was back on. We also completed the first part of our emergency drivers training, the course training. Everyone was able to get through that. We also did some more emergency reporting training. Chief Nye and myself, we worked a little bit on the maintenance tab, and we did some more work on occupancy tab stuff with Chief Froelich, so we've been very busy with that. As far as the overtime, we had a total of 330 hours of overtime, and some of that, again, was Lucas County CE, so that's why the numbers were back to CE. The last 4 pages, I believe, are all thank you notes, and most of you remembered Maggie Whitman, who was very big in our community. She had passed away, and we did a little bit of a fire service for her, and her family had thanked everyone again kindly for the participation from the guys. So if I could, I'd like to call up Craig Kapersky and his wife, Randy. Chris is going to stand over here. Huh? She's fine. She can stand right next to you. You can go on that side, Brandon.
Behind it.
Because that's where you're going to pin him. Yeah, there you go. He said not like Mr. Genowine did mine, so. Not 3 sentences at a time.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Craig Kapersky, do solemnly swear that I will obey and support the Constitution of the United States of America, the laws and revised code of the state of Ohio, the established laws and ordinances within Sylvania Township,
That's where you work.
and the rules and regulations of the Sylvania Township Fire Department, that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of the position of Lieutenant Paramedic according to all governance therein to the best of my ability. I take and subscribe this oath before the Board of Trustees and the Sylvania Township Fire Chief this 20th day of June 2017.
Before the Board of Trustees and the Fire Chief.
Yep.
This 20th day of June 2017.
And
Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
you earned it. Let the trustees.
Congratulations. Best of luck. Lieutenant?
Lieutenant Kapersky has some big shoes to fill. He's going to Station 61C where Deputy Chief Nye was the lieutenant, so he's got some big shoes to fill. He's got big feet, so I think he's going to do fine. Next up I have a resolution. It's 17-069. It's to rescind a previous resolution of 17057. What happened was I was given the approval to hire a full-time fellow, and he failed the stress test. So we had to go down to the next guy, and that's what this is rescinding our offer of position to the first guy.
I'll move Resolution 17069, rescinding Resolution 17057.
Second.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The next one is 17-070. That is to go to the next guy on the list who has passed everything. His name would be Matt Murray. So that's, he would be taking the spot that we just rescinded, so.
I'll offer Resolution 17-070 to appoint firefighter paramedic.
Second.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
This is kind of the fun part of my job right here. Kevin Cross, you want to have your family come on up and... I've known Kevin a long time. Kevin and I actually graduated from high school together, so we go way back, and Kevin became a volunteer fireman not long after I did, and unfortunately, with his time commitments, Kevin had to resign. So today we're going to present him a nice plaque from Sylvania, where he was appointed November 27, 1991, retired April 6, 2017. And this is in recognition of many years of dedicated service with the Sylvania Township Fire Department, serving the citizens of Sylvania Township and the city of Sylvania. Kevin?
Thank you. 26 years, Kevin.
Kevin, thanks for all you did for the community. I appreciate it. Thanks, Kevin.
Chief? Yeah. Come on, Mary. This
be the last time.
I can't guarantee you that.
Say that every time.
Well, you have to remember, Mary, 39 years he was here, so were you. So this. I don't know. Let's ask the. All right.
Retirement's not going too well.
Okay, this plaque is going to be presented to Chief Jeffrey Kowalski. He was appointed firefighter April 16, 1978, retired March 16, 2017. This also is in recognition of the many years of dedicated service with the Sylvania Township Fire Department, serving the citizens of Sylvania Township and the city of Sylvania. Chief, thank you. You can go right ahead.
No, you're going to stay right there. I'm going to take a liberty if it's okay with the board. I will be very brief. I will tell you that. I just want to thank the Board of Trustees for their dedication and support the 7 years I was fire chief. I know we didn't always see eye to eye, but the key was that we were able to sit down and talk about it and come up with a resolve that was good for the community. And that's important. And I think that's something we can all look forward to, and I really appreciated your support. I want to thank Chief Ram and Deputy Chief Freilich for their support during my tenure. These are two highly educated individuals that will take this department, as well as Deputy Chief Nye, to the future. And I'd like to thank the citizens of Sylvania. They are the ones that afforded me to buy a home, raise a family in a community that indeed cares about each other. That's very important. And lastly, not lastly, I'd like to thank my wife. God, don't say that. For all her support during the years. She served 39 years on the department right by my side. She had to put up with a lot of the downside and not a lot of the good stuff sometimes. When you come home from a run that upsets you, she was there at my side helping me all the time. And lastly, I'd like to thank the firefighters. Guys who are off duty, please stand. Come on, guys. These are the dedicated professionals that are willing to put their lives on the line every day for this community. And without them, this department would be nothing. And I appreciate all your support during the years. I really appreciate your dedication. There's 3 words I demanded, I guess, on the new engine: honor, courage, and dedication. And that's how I see all of you. You are true professionals, and I thank you for your support. Thank you very much. It's been an honor and a privilege serving with you. Thank you all.
Well, the police department's gonna have a tough time topping that one, so. Should we give them a minute?
While we're waiting, Mr. Chairman, I want to recognize also Chief Kowalski spent a lot of time with the SCAT board, was a past president of the SCAT board. And I'd like to recognize those extra efforts. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Good evening. Boy, playing a lot of ball, the only analogy I can come up with is the guy before me just hit a grand slam, and I'm stepping up to the plate as number 9 hitter, and...
At least the bases are empty, you know?
Yeah, exactly. No pressure, no pressure.
The audience.
You have before you our monthly report for the month of May, and on page 2, you'll see our calls for service divided up between the CAD incidents, the fire incidents, the 9/11 calls. Obviously, the majority is into the police line and then into the fire line. On page 3, you'll see that most of our stats, thankfully, continue to trend downward. We're down in calls for service. We're down just slightly in citations written. We're down in property damage accidents. We're about the same in injury accidents. Burglaries we're down by quite a bit. Robberies were down. Domestic violence, a crime that you really cannot prevent. We happen to be up. Assaults were down. Identity thefts about the same. OVIs were down a little bit. Sex crimes were up by quite a bit. In fact, all of 2016 we didn't have any. And the same for the CSB reports as Children's Services Board. Thefts were down, and all the other crimes coupled together were actually down. I did see something recently. I'll have to get you more information on it, but there was some alarm company that went through and looked at stats of cities and townships in the state of Ohio, and per capita, per 100,000, or not 100,000, but per 1,000 people, we were ranked number 15 as far as one of the safest communities to live in the whole state of Ohio. I'll get you more material on that. I tried to look it up, and you know, all I got was their stats. I don't know where they got those, but at least one company out there is putting it out that, and this is through the whole state of Ohio, that we're the 15th safest city or safest community to live in the state. So that was kind of nice. Page 4, you'll see that our prisoner transport cost analysis, doing the transports for the city police department also is not costing us a great deal of money, which is a positive, and it really promotes the interaction of the two police departments, which we have a great relationship with them anyway, with our SRT and from patrol to community affairs. Just a very, very good relationship with them. They're a first-rate police department. Page 5, detective caseload stats. You'll see that we had 59 cases assigned in the month of May to the detectives, of which they cleared 39 of them, with 20 remaining active. They actually cleared 14 prior cases for a total of 53 cases cleared in the month of May. DEA task force, Of note, you'll see the U.S. currency, well, number one, you'll see they made a lot of seizures of a lot of drugs. It was a very active month. One thing that's nice is the money's property seized. You'll see the amount, and as you know, we get a percentage of that, usually about 9% or so, but it depends on the case. And then finally, the last paragraph there, or actually it's not indented as a paragraph, but you'll see where we had our DEA detective investigate a multi-pound marijuana dealer in Sylvania Township that resulted in a search warrant of his residence. A coordinated traffic stop in the suspect resulted in the seizure of approximately 12 pounds of marijuana, and a search of the residence revealed various steroids and $19,800 in U.S. currency, which were all seized. I also will add that about a week ago, I learned that we just haven't received it yet, but due to another out-of-town case, our detective in the DEA task force, we are going to be dispersed on this one case, $27,664.94, which is kind of nice. Pays for pretty much 3/4 of our SRT vehicle out there. So, page 7, we've been active in community affairs. We had a couple of DARE graduations and such. We've got everybody qualified in almost all the state mandated courses, and we're well along in all that stuff. We've spent a lot of time in the schools. We are starting to get more traffic complaints. I got one 2 days ago on Hessler, where we've had the other issue going on, so we'll address that. Page 8, you can see the speed trailer is placed on Fairbanks and on Maple Creek. Fairbanks in that area where that one gentleman lives with the increased traffic from the car dealerships and such. And community affairs-wise, or actually patrol-wise, I can tell you that we're putting together all our plans right now for the fireworks thing. That's a huge thing in a couple of weeks here that hopefully continues to go as well as it has the last few years. And then page 9 is a canine report. There's not a whole lot to report there. Increased activity. I'll let you read that for yourselves. Page 10, just the stuff collected from DEA just recently obviously doesn't include that figure I gave you, and the Sylvania Municipal Court monthly fine charges. Page 11, we had 169 hours of overtime, and I can tell you that, this time of year we do experience a little bit more. Surprisingly, only 17 hours of that was in dispatch, because we are in the process of filling that 13th dispatch position, which will give us a relief dispatcher on days and afternoons, which helps considerably. And with that, that's all I have. If you have any questions or anything.
Chief, I had a call from a business owner over there near that Fairfield, the street there behind the old Kmart, and he said that there is somebody living in a motorhome on that parking lot.
Okay.
Didn't know if that was illegal or what, or if we contact the property owner and let them know about it.
Make sure he's got permission, it would be a start, and that's...
But,
we could check it out.
Okay. And I have driven by a few times, and every time it's been there, so I
Whereabouts in the lot is it?
right in the middle.
Right in the middle?
That's the Kmart lot.
Yeah, the Kmart lot. Is CarMax going to go in there soon?
They own it.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, it would clean
Right
up.
in the middle of the
I think they
lot.
were waiting until the road construction, and now after they see the results of that construction, maybe they've changed their mind.
Yeah, really.
That is a mess.
Yeah, it sure is. All right, it's a motorhome, it's not a trailer or anything.
Right, it's a
like
motorhome.
a motorhome in the
Yep.
middle of the lot.
Yeah.
We could check it out on nights, and then, that's probably a zoning,
Right,
right?
that would actually be a zoning violation. You cannot live in an RV on private property. You can't have hookup to utilities, so we would have to address that with CarMax. And last I heard, they are looking at summer of 2019 for their They're opening, or they're construction.
Well, if you check into it, that'd be great.
We can get some ID for you and such, maybe chase him out with a warning before you have to deal with it. You know, I'll let Midnights know. You guys are a lot scarier.
As they say, they carry guns.
I have nothing on the board, so, Mr. Simcoe?
Well, you see the month-end analysis there, and all of our funds are really looking pretty good. 5 months in, you start seeing a little bit of shape of things, and I think we're doing well as far as our revenue goes. Always watching the expense side, and at this time, at the end of 5 months, our expenses should be about 41, a little 42%, and you can see we're under budget in all of our funds, and so right now there's nothing alarming that we're seeing. I think it looks pretty good right now. And we'll be interesting to see what at the end of 6 months does too. But with no questions, I've got 2 resolutions in that. The first is Resolution 17-071, and we need to do an appropriation is needed in an account that can be transferred from another account. So we're going to be doing that. It's basically for police personnel, protective equipment, and training. Small amount of money, $5,000.
I'll offer Resolution 17-071, transfer of appropriations.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
And one other resolution, Resolution 17-072, and it's basically we've received some proceeds from an abandoned vehicle auction that we would like to transfer to the police fund.
I'll offer Resolution 17072, transfer of funds.
Second.
Mr. Genowine seconded. Calling the roll, Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
That's all I have.
All right.
Yeah.
Nobody signed in for,
Open discussion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn at 5:34.
Second.
Call the roll, Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Genowine?
Yes.
We are.
I would like to remind everybody the next meeting is July 5th, which is Wednesday, since the 4th of July is on a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
We didn't want to cancel that?